take your sell when you see price, move back into that zone again and give you a clean sell structure. But currently now, the precious metal is still very bullish, and the opportunity you should be looking out for should be a buy opportunity. Now, if you want to buy, where are we going to look out to see our buy from? Our buy signature, where we are going to have a clear, and this is one, you see a sweep of this particular low and break out of it. So when price comes back to seek this liquidity below here and tap into this zone, then we can easily follow it all the way to the upside. So for the precious metal right now, it's still very much bullish. However, knowing fully today that we have NFP coming today, then you truly want to trade cautiously. And prior to NFP, there are some reactions you begin to see on the chart that gives you an hint to what may about to happen. And that is mainly for those who are on our TDA Plus group. So if you're on that group, we are going to share with you the direction we are looking out for to trade in the course of NFP. And if you are not there, that is telling you you should do as fast as possible to join the team. All right, now that is for the precious metal. Let's quickly take a look at the yen basket. Looking at the yen basket, like we said earlier this week, that the yen basket this week will be bullish, and that's what we've been seeing so far. You see, this is it here. It's been a bullish one so far. That's the weekly candle. Now, if you check it on the daily time frame, you also see our prediction, meaning we expect it to buy all the way to this split zone and tap into this fair value gap here, and moreover for it to come all the way to this OB here. So I still have that impression that price will still come rally all the way into this zone, this particular zone here, this OB here. So if you are looking out for that, it's very, very important, which is telling us that the yen correlated pairs, as these yen basket rallies, they are going to tank to the downside. However, yesterday we saw a clear buy of GJ, meaning the pullback of this yen pair of the yen basket gives us a buy of GJ. And if you look at it on the look at GJ, yesterday we bought GJ at this level, somewhere around this place yesterday, and you are going to see the reason why we did that yesterday. Look at this. So this is our sweep of liquidity. This is the shoulder that was cleared out. So all we did was to mark that particular zone, and that is it. This is it here. So you are going to see this particular zone, this shoulder here is what we look out for our entry. So we mark this particular shoulder here. That is when price tapped into it, and you can see price came and tapped into this particular shoulder here. That is the body of the candle at the top here. And that is what you see. That's the reason why we took the buy yesterday, and our SL was below this week here, and it delivered about 100 pips, over 100 pips, 117 to the top, all the way to the side. So that is what we are still looking out for GJ. However, knowing fully well that the yen basket is going to rally, and because we've seen the opening of the week all through till Wednesday was a rally day for the yen basket, so we need to see it form either the low of the week or the closing of the week, that is the price action for that period. So what we are expecting today on the yen basket, since it already got to the flip zone and also it has tapped into that our POI, we are expecting a brief short of yen basket today, and knowing fully well that if the NFP is going to cause a strong dollar, then we should see some level, either the yen ranges or it tanks to the downside. All right, so looking at what we have on the screen here, is there any entry for us on GJ? What you are going to do is look at everything we have here now. We are not seeing very much clear entry. However, we saw a, some level of market structure shift on the 15-minute time frame. And what we'll be looking at is if price have a high tendency of rallying, look at there is enough liquidity at the upside here. If the yen basket is going to, sell off for today, then we expect price to buy all the way to this high here. So that is what we are looking out for today's market outlook on the gold, precious metal, and the yen basket. If there's any question, you can easily ask in the chat box. Let's quickly take your question before we call it a day. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning,
Good morning,
everyone.
sir.
Good morning. Any questions for the traders today? From the traders today? I'm really looking forward to non-farm payroll because non-farm payroll would pretty much give us final confirmation of whatever sentiment will happen on the dollar. Although from everything that I'm seeing going on in the dollar, from a sentiment perspective, dollar is undeniably weak. Everything is rallying against the dollar. Let's see FinVis, which we have been looking at for a while. Let's see FinVis. What's FinVis telling us? FinVis Forex and FinVis Futures. Remember I said that I'm suspecting that the economic theme, okay, we're seeing it on daily. Let's see it on weekly and monthly after. Weekly. Okay, everything is rallying versus the dollar. Let's see it on monthly. Okay, so on the monthly, you see USD and CHF to the left, and AUD and GBP to the right. So the safe haven assets, the dollar and the Swiss franc are to the left, and then we have Australian dollar to the right. Okay, let's see it on weekly. Weekly. For the weekly, we have USD and CHF to the left, or which is our right, and then we have AUD and JPY on the other side. So this can be a bit confusing because JPY is a safe haven asset. But what this is simply telling us is that the current economic theme is a dump of the dollar dump. Dollar dump. This is the current economic theme. Let's see futures. So they are selling everything versus the dollar. Let's see futures. Let's see futures. All right, so okay. Coffee, canola, ethanol, they're all buying oil, crude oil, everything is buying 30-year bond, buying Australian dollar, buying gold, buying. Then dollar is way down. See dollar right at the bottom there, plus 0.05. Scroll up, let's see it, please. Okay, plus 0.05. So we have more things buying versus the dollar. Excuse me, more things buying versus the dollar. We also see VIX selling off really strongly. So we're in a risk-on environment. In a risk-on environment, things appreciate versus the dollar. In a risk-on environment, that means you have equities going up. That means you have commodity currencies going up. So I want to see what non-farm payroll will do. If non-farm payroll comes out and brings news that is bad for the dollar, and how do you know? Let's go to Forex Live, forexlive.com. Forex Live is a great website for getting fundamental analysis in a manner that is relatively easy to understand. Forexlive.com. Click on it. Okay, scroll down. So yesterday's scroll down. So the headlines I'm looking for anything that tells me about dollar or the US economy. Okay, so we just saw one headline there. A slower session beckons in Europe as US job report. So open that in another page. We're coming back to read it. Scroll, scroll, scroll. I saw USD JPY. Can I open that one? Although it's a technical piece of news. It's a technical article. Let's scroll up. June rate cut. Yeah, open that. So I'm trying to show you how we do have an idea of what may happen. Scroll up. Extreme surprise. Okay, let's go. Let's check that. So they're analyzing this report to see what can happen. Let's scroll up again. Scroll up, scroll up. Okay, all right. I saw a piece of news, something about inflation. Inflation has dropped to 3%, the lowest in the world, and is trending down. Interesting. You know, inflation was very high, so they increased interest rates. There was a rate hike to combat inflation. Now, inflation has dropped, so it's very likely there will be a rate cut. So we just go through those news. Let's go through them one by one. Let's go through them one by one. The ones we opened, yes. So we'll just read what that is. Scroll up. This is how we prepare for news release. Scroll up. I'm just skimming through to see if there's any major. Scroll up, scroll up. Okay, it says, considering broader sentiment, it looks like traders are wanting a release that will validate the moves this week. What are the moves this week? What did I say the moves were? Softer dollar and stronger what? Risk trades. I said it's looking like risk is on. Risk is on. That means it's going to take quite some convincing to turn sentiment around as we look towards the weekend. And barring any material change to the Fed outlook, I reckon the play will be to fade any opposite reaction to the flows we have seen in the last few days, but we will see. This thing that has been said now, what is it? Write in your comments. What do you think this means? What does this mean, please? What does this mean? It says traders want something that will validate the moves. So the data they want is data that will come out that will say the dollar should sell some more and risk trades should buy some more. So they are saying that it's something really serious that will turn this sentiment around. They are saying that except this news with regard to the Fed on the hawkish side, then any news you see that brings dollar up, sell it, sell it, sell it. So this is what we're looking at. So if news comes out and non-farm payroll snaps dollar to the upside, you see Euro USD, GBP USD come down. But they are saying no matter how it comes down, fundamentally, it's still looking like sell the dollar and buy risk assets versus the dollar. So that's what I'm waiting for to see. That's what I'm waiting for to see. So on the dollar index, we'll just mark all the levels where price can pull back to. That has already been done. But let's just see the charts of the DAX. News is to reflect a weak dollar. So one of the things we're not trying to do is predict the news. We're trying to find out what the broader sentiment is against the news. All right, so let's see dollar index and mark all the levels, because if inflation is going down, if it's the lowest ever, they will most likely want to start encouraging rate cuts. So to sell the dollar, let's mark all those levels where we can have possible pullbacks that will sell the dollar. Click on it. Okay, that's our sweep. That's our break of structure. That's our grab of liquidity, another sweep right there, and another break of structure to the downside. So look off from the 12th all the way to the 26th. That was the break of structure to the downside. Then we now had another sweep that was done. Exactly. And a break of structure. So where are the possible places? So look at from the 20, exactly where you are, where you just put. Yeah, so that's the sweep there that grabbed that previous. Exactly. That's the shoulder, that's the sweep. So let's look at the origin of the sweep and the origin of the shoulder. Let's mark there. The origin of the sweep and the origin of the shoulder. That's the origin of the sweep there. That's where the sweep started from. Then where is the shoulder that was swept? The origin of the shoulder that was swept. The origin, exactly. The close of the week, yes. Not the low, the close, exactly. Let's mark that. So those are the two places where institutional moves were made. Then let's look at the shoulder and the fair value gap around there. You can use triangle for that one. The shoulder and the fair value gap around that. I say triangle, you can use square, rectangle instead of using line. So the news is saying everything is pointing that the dollar should weaken and risk trades should be on. Trades versus the dollar, AUD, USD, NZD, USD, risk assets should be buying. And that's what we saw in FinVis. So I don't know if you understand. FinVis is showing us the currency strength. Forex Live is showing us how to interpret that. So let's mark our shoulder and the fair value gap. And wherever we see potential inducement, exactly. Scroll it down all the way to the inducement. Okay. And then there's the shoulder. So that's the fair value gap. That's our twin tower resistance after the fair value gap and the liquidity that was created there. So let us just show where we expect price to tap into based on this. So there's been a sweep of the left shoulder. There's been a sweep of the left shoulder. There's been a break of structure to the downside. There's the creation of inducement, and there's the fair value gap. Exactly. So we expect it to grab that liquidity, tap into that fair value gap. Exactly. Is this making sense or is it not making sense? So based on whatever we may see, of course, price is quite far from there, but understand where I'm coming from. The news is saying, fundamentally speaking, dollar should weaken, except something changes with monetary policy. The technicals are saying, oh, see a gap, oh, see potential places. So that's the first place. Where is the second place? The flip zone, where previous support has become. So that's the flip zone with a fair value gap, with a reclaimed order block. Exactly. Exactly. So price may not get all the way to, please push that flip zone all the way. That flip zone, take it all the way to that week so we can see the IOFED very clearly. No, I'm saying the flip zone at the base that you just drew with the big fair value gap. Exactly. All the way to the week. That week. To show that. Then that zone you put in the middle, what's the zone for?
That is the other block there, sir. The other block there.
I don't think anything will happen at that other block. That other block is and that fair value gap. So for me, There's nothing there, exactly. So this is what because that other block, yes, there's a stopper shocker there, but there's a very serious flip zone there where support was converted. Let's mark our B. Mark my preferred level, then 61.8. So if price gets into that place, that's a place for a tentative sell. But according to the box pattern, the one higher, more formidable for me. All right. So please screen grab this for me and just so that even it won't disappear, so that we can make reference to it going forward. All right. So of course you do your Fibonacci. Let's add Fibonacci if we can see that. Now let's wait for what price will likely. Exactly. All right. So yeah, that's basically one setup you can look out for. All right, on the Dixie. Of course, if this happens on Euro USD, to be the opposite. On AUD USD, it's the opposite, the inverse that we're looking for. All right. So yes, that's basically what I see with regard to the dollar. Any rise in the dollar, smash it down. And those are the liquidity levels that we're looking for. All right. Any question for me? Any question for me? All right. If there is no question, that's basically what I see. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Take a screenshot of this, so send to me.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, to everyone who you've seen this and or we are anticipating for NFP, and make sure you trade cautiously and use your proper risk management strategy. Also, for those who truly don't have time to trade in the course of the week, and all you have is during the weekend, and as we all know, the currency market doesn't open in the weekend, but the synthetic market is very much there for you to also practice out all this. So I will recommend you take our ATM cash flow training, where we teach you how to trade the synthetic profitably. The training is coming up by the 20th of this month, and the registration will be closing by 18th of this month, and it's just for 100,000 naira. Just make sure you register. And for those who truly want to get our specific entry and exit point on all these trade and analysis, all you need to do is register account with our preferred broker, Okta. When you register your account, make a deposit of 200, 500 and above into the account and send us a screenshot of your MT4 balance. Then we are going to add you to the TDA Plus group, where we share all our markup, our trade calls, and also including the entry. So you can easily do all this as fast as possible by following the 3 steps in the chat box. We're going to see it in the chat box now. All the important steps there, you see it there. So follow it, reach out to us. And if there's any question or any more inquiries you want to know about value flow, about our courses, about our offers, our bots are also doing greatly well. You know, most of our clients who are using our bots, they are smiling in every day, in and out. You know, the bot is doing perfectly well. So all you need to do is just reach out to us on our WhatsApp line or any of our social media handle, so we can easily follow you up for any of your requests. See you again by 3 p.m. for the New York. Till then, trade cautiously and use your proper risk management.